Warning, be prepared for something amazing. Drew Allar, Penn State quarterback. Today we're going to dedicate Drew Allar Day. I am a huge Drew Allar fan. He's somebody that when you just watch his film, you see stuff like this, man. His arm talent, his velocity, the size, all the tools, the sneaky athleticism. You start saying, oh, is this guy a little Josh Allen, a little Justin Herbert? Go Chris Constance, a little Patrick Mahomes? I don't know. But anyway, no, there's a long way to go from that, but I really am a big fan of him. Let's go ahead and talk about his film here, the good and the bad, because there's definitely still a lot of areas he needs to improve upon, but I really like the building blocks of Drew Allar, and you're going to notice with him, it's the arm talent first and foremost, the zip, the flip that he has, and when he steps up into the pocket and rifles the throw, I mean, you can't get much better than that. That is just an incredible throw, incredible velocity, and it's all littered throughout his tape, so that's the big thing with Drew Allar. His arm talent is up there with those guys, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, and the elite Patrick Mahomes and all those guys, right? It's a really good, he's got a very good arm. And this is another thing that he's added to the film this year is his playmaking ability. Going back to this, I just love the fact that he's also very composed. See, he keeps his head up, which last year he was more of a duck and run. This year he's more, I'm trying to extend plays. I'm keeping my eyes downfield. And that's something I think he's really done a good job on this year because whenever I see him trying to be on the move, he's looking downfield first before he's running. And, you know, you go back to these tight window throws, there's just so many of these on his film that you're like, oh my goodness, man. He's able to fit throws into these incredible tight windows. He shows those flashes too of anticipation. You're seeing it and putting these into these tight windows. Here's another one where he just kind of drives it. I mean, oh my. Let's look at this again because this is as good as it gets right here. Steps up into the pocket, and this is when his mechanics and his footwork all align right here, and he delivers a money throw. That is an NFL play right there. So, you know, just sometimes you look at these up the seams here into a little deep seam route and hits his man right up there and delivers it right on the money. So you're just kind of going through this and seeing all the plays that he can make. Here's a deep ball, which he's got plenty of loft on the football. Now, I do think sometimes he can get a little bit too much air under the football. We'll get into that in the negatives. However, he has plenty of arm strength to get that ball down there. We're going to see him throw a 70-yard pass here in a little bit. Here he is once again on the move, making a little scramble drill happen. Look at that flick of the wrist. Easy. He makes it look easy. That's not an easy throw, I'm telling you. Trust me, try that one at home. It's not an easy one. Another tight window throw with that linebacker coming across the middle of the field. Here's another one, Tyler Warren in a little motion, and he looks his way, takes it away, comes back to the second read. Now he's going to the third read on this dig. See, he misses, the slant's not open. We can go back to this too. Let's take a look at this. So first off, you're going to notice he's looking for Tyler Warren right off the gate. Warren's not there. Good job. And then he comes back over to the left, sees his slant there in the slots, not available. He comes over to the third read, hits his man right across the middle on this deep dig, and a great ball placement right there as well for his receiver. Next play, scramble drill. Let's see what he can do. Just the flick. And that is, once again, a very challenging throw to make. I mean, come on. Here's a little seam, streak, fade, touchdown to Tyler Warren. Nice fade. He's got some good touch on those fade routes as well. Deep ball, Purdue, wide open, but he makes the play. That's what you got to see. Ohio State, the Buckeyes. How did he do versus the Buckeyes? And I thought he actually had a really good game versus Ohio State. And kind of feel like surprised that people were saying stuff because I think the hype should have started more at the Ohio State game. He played very, very good, especially considering his receivers were blanketed the entire game, basically, and they did a good job trying to limit Tyler Warren. I felt like that he did the best that he could and really elevated this team, and they had a chance to win. Unfortunately, just couldn't get the 4th and goal. Overall, I think he did a really good job in that Ohio State game. Here's some Bowling Green tape, and he made some really good throws in this one. And look at that, another right over that cornerback for a first down. Here's a scramble drill play, keeps the eyes up, delivers a beam over the middle, right in the hands. Got to catch it. But, you know, sometimes drops happen. Here's a seam up to Tyler Warren. Nice throw. Let's take a look here. What we got. Next throw, deep post. He's wide open. Deliver with pressure. He knows he's going to get hit. Right on the money, TD. Here's a little corner seam. Right in there. Boom. And again, great accuracy. And that's the thing people talk about. Well, his accuracy isn't very good. No, man, he has really improved his accuracy this season. Look at the air on this pass. That's right on the money. Great play, though, by the defender. That is a monster 65, 70-yard pass right there. Wisconsin tape. He unfortunately got injured in the end of the first half here in this one, which really sucked. But going to some Maryland footage here, we're just kind of working game by game. Now, I know this is not in order, but I have watched every single game from Drew Allar this season. Look at this play. And you just look at, I've got to throw some Tyler Warren film out there, right? You're going to see plenty of Tyler Warren. But fumble, the snap kind of gets away from him there and picks it up. Doing his best little Ben Roethlisberger, Josh Allen impersonation, gets it to his playmaker, and also good intelligence to understand that Tyler Warren's right behind him. Now, I cannot show a ton of the Oregon film because I know that there's some copyright stuff with the championship game, but come on, it's worth the copy. Hopefully, I got to throw this one out there. Hopefully they don't get me on that, but that was as clutch as you get at the end of the game versus the Oregon Ducks and giving them a chance to win that one, or at least tie it. Now, his scrambling ability, he is a very sneaky scrambler. He's not, I wouldn't call him Josh Allen level athlete, but he is a good athlete. He is somebody that you give him some crease and he's gonna pick up a first down. And there's been multiple occasions where he's come through on big occasions in third down and been able to pick up first down. So, and he's also so difficult to tackle. That's another big thing. Like, he's got those Ben Roethlisberger style of traits where it's just like, who wants to tackle a guy 6'4", 6'5", and 230 pounds? Now, let's go on some of the negatives here. And the accuracy is still a question. And I think some of the accuracy inconsistencies still have to do with his footwork. And he does lean back at times. Like ball placement, too, is I think actually the bigger issue this season. And that's something he still needs to improve upon. But there are plenty of layups, just like that one. He's got to hit those, okay? And there's no question about it. There is still room for growth in this area. Here's another one, just kind of in ball placement. That's more of a ball placement thing there. But you're going to see some of these gimmies that you got to hit at the next level. Here he's just kind of fading back. I understand there's pressure coming from the left side, and this was a pass interference call, so it's not the worst throw or anything like that. I don't mind that sort of thing, but I just want to kind of highlight some of these inaccuracies and some of these problems with his footwork. Look at the footwork kind of break down there and kind of forces that throw. He gets a little, sometimes he gets a little arm happy. You see what I'm saying? The footwork doesn't always align with his body. And you're just going to see some more. Here's a little seam that he overthrew. Now he got hit on the arm there, so that did affect some things, but still throwing this out. Another ball placement. If he would have thrown that in front for Tyler Warren, that would have been a touchdown, but he put it on the back shoulder instead, which had to lead him out of bounds. Bowling Green, going back to the Bowling Green machine. I love this. This was a fun game to actually watch, and they came from behind. And here's another ball placement one though, and they end up winning that game. It was a good one. Here's Wisconsin. He drives this one well. He drives it too much. Sometimes adrenaline can get the best of you too in those type of throws at the end of the half, trying to make a big play. He airmails it though. Now, decision making. He did have, I counted 7 turnover worthy plays this season. And there's a couple times where he does lock in to one side of the football field, and he still needs to work on that. I think in general, just like eye manipulation at the next level could be a bit more of an issue if you're not careful, because he can lock in a little too long on one side. I think he does a good job with his progressions, and we'll talk about that, but I think there are times where he can get a little locked in on one side, and he'll make a read, which will be exaggerated a little bit more at the NFL level too. So yeah, absolutely. In general, though, I think that there are some zone plays where defenders are able to kind of, he misses a couple of guys here and there, and that happens with any quarterback. Here's a YOLO pass he threw up. He got away with this one. However, I categorize that as a turnover-worthy play because, maybe he did see the defender. I'm sure he saw the safety. Here's another good example where he maybe just misses this zone drop with this edge rusher who comes out, and that could easily been intercepted. So let's go ahead and summarize everything up from Drew Allar. And the first thing you notice with him is that size, the strength profile, and the arm talent, right? He has all the prototypical tools. When you look at guys like Josh Allen on Sunday and you see that physical presence, I think Drew Allar has a lot of those similarities to his game. I don't think he's as good of an athlete as Josh Allen, but he certainly has good athleticism and, as I put, sneaky scrambler and extender of plays. And that's a big thing to his game this season that has elevated this Penn State football team. And I feel like he doesn't get enough credit for it, is how well he has actually elevated their offense, considering I don't think they have a whole ton of great playmakers, and I don't want to sly any of those receivers. They're still Big Ten football players, and they're very good football players. Just comparative to the competition level, I think that a lot of times they get bodied, and that's just what it seems like out there at the receiver position. So he's got to elevate, and I do think he does. And especially they kind of keep things a little limited times there at Penn State in the offense. So yeah, I mean, but Coach K has done a good job. Like he's under 2 different coordinators, and I feel like he's made huge strides this season under Coach K. So going on back to some of the strengths, his toughness too under the pocket in pressure and things like that. He's not afraid to take a hit, which is also a key element, right? You got to be able to stand in there, hang in tough under pressure, and he does that really at a high level. And you saw him in that Wisconsin game, like battering through injuries. So he was limping, man. So I certainly don't question his play toughness out there. And then the tight window throws, it's all over the film. I mean, there's just so many times where he is, and that's not, always the case with these quarterbacks out there. You can't always see these NFL translatable passes. You can see a lot of NFL plays on Drew Allar's film. There are tons all over the football field, big time throws that will translate to the next level. That arm talent is going to serve him well. And then another thing, I really did, we talking about this, his progressions. He's able to get to 1 to 2 to 3. And I think his eyes are actually pretty quick, and something where I see him, constantly looking around and whatnot. Now, I still think he can work on his eye manipulation of defenders, and that's something we talked about in the negatives with some of those turnover-worthy plays. But overall, like, he's able to get through his progressions. He avoids sacks too, and that's huge, right? You got to be able to get the ball out on time, and he does that. He actually has one of the lowest time to throws out of a lot of these guys, other than like Garrett Nussmeier, and he may end up coming back, but comparative to to Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders, he gets the ball out much quicker than those guys. So yeah, I think he does a really good job avoiding sacks and has a solid mental clock and processor. And getting in some of the negatives though here, kind of working in with these, I do think the mechanics and the overall footwork still needs to be improved. And you can see that where his eyes and his upper body isn't always aligned with his footwork, and that can cause him some difficulties with that accuracy and the ball placement and consistency wise. And you know what? If I was a quarterback coach and I was saying, hey, look, I have to pick a weakness for somebody coming out, I would say the mechanics are the thing that I feel best about, because those can be just coached up. Yeah, I'm not saying they're easy. However, comparative to not having the arm talent, the athleticism, the play extending, the ability to read the field and not make bad throws and not, like triple coverage over and over again, like those sort of things, I would take somebody that has that over mechanics any day. You can work on the mechanics. If you have the time and the effort and you put all that into your craft, that's just something you've seen guys like Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes massively improve in their games. And that also is just something where everybody's a little bit different. Look at Peyton Manning. Like, nobody always, you can't just say, oh, you got to have the perfect mechanics. Not everybody's Tom Brady, okay? Some people rely more on timing, and I think that Drew Allar, when he continues to work on his timing and his overall rhythm, he's going to get better. And he already is. Like 2024 film compared to the 2023 film. If you watch my video in 2023, when I did one in the offseason, I was much lower on Drew Allar because it was really bad. And it was to the point where you really couldn't see the field. He has made huge strides in his accuracy. I mean, immense strides. Yes, he still has a room to go, but if he keeps making even a little bit more of a progression into next season and continue progressions, and he could be an elite quarterback. And then a couple other things. I do think his feet are a little heavy at times. And what I mean by that, he's not as light on his feet as a guy like Josh Allen. And that's why I say he's not as good of an athlete as Josh Allen, because you're going to hear a lot of those comparisons. And obviously I've talked about him a lot in this video as well, but I do think his feet are a little bit heavier at times, and he certainly doesn't have that loose athleticism, and that he's not like Bryce Young by any standpoints or anything like that in terms of, being able to shake guys in and out of the pocket, but he wins with his size and strength, right? It's so difficult to tackle him. Like Ben Roethlisberger, he's just going to kind of bully his way out of you, and that's how he extends plays. And then lastly, I talked about this too, is his eyes, in the film. Sometimes they can get a little locked in on one side, especially in zone coverage, where maybe that underneath defender is able to come up a little bit quicker and make a play on a pass. So I just want to see those sort of things improve with this game. And as I talked about, he's a super young player. He's 20 years old. Give him a little bit more time. He's only a second-year full starter for this Penn State Nittany Lion football team. If he does declare, will he be a little bit of a guy that ideally you'd want to sit for at least half a season? Yes. Okay. So you want to have a bridge quarterback if you're going to draft Drew Allar. I'm not putting him right away into a lineup. When you're going into the draft, you're drafting for the future, right? And that is what it is with Drew Allar. He has the talent and he looks like he has the work ethic from everything I watched tons of videos on Drew Allar, and I really am a big fan of him on and off the field. And I do think he's got the drive and the skills, what it takes to be a top tier quarterback in the NFL. So that's my view on Drew Allar. I gave him a mid first round grade. I'm 100% fine taking him in that Jets Browns range. And he grew up a Browns fan. I believe his family is from Ohio. His family is from Ohio. And I saw pictures of him with Cleveland Browns stuff on. So I could see that being a destination. The Jets, as a Jets fan, I want him so bad. If he ends up being a Jet, I will get a jersey of Drew Allar. So it'll be my first jersey I've ever bought. I really want to do that, but we shall see. Wish him the best, though, and I'm really excited if he does declare. I'm excited just for the playoffs, too, with him. So I think that he has another chance to prove that he can win a big game, because I think that's the biggest knock on his film, is just maybe not elevating enough to win a big game. With that being said, though, I let me know your thoughts, your opinions. I'm so excited as a Drew Allar fanboy, as a Penn State fanboy, I guess, this season. I've been a bit of a bandwagon fan of Penn State. I've watched every game. And it's because of this guy, and Abdul Carter's too is a stud. Tyler Warren, they got some good football players. Nick Singleton, Katron Allen, you name it. But it's really been a fun team, and Drew Allar has been a big part of this fun season for Penn State. So I'm rooting for Penn State. I really am. Penn State and Oregon are my two teams that I'm rooting for in the playoffs. So I hope you guys have a cool day. Let me know what you think about Drew Allar. Do you think he's a first-round guy? Where are you at right now? But I certainly believe he's a first-round guy. Keep it coolin', though.